So today I am going to brief talk about the importance of planning on project performance in construction project. I am sure that all of you know about the planning, everybody know about the planning and how the planning will help or what will be the impact or success performance delivery in a construction project. I'm going to brief discussion about that one. So today I'm going to include about what is planning and why you need to do. Do we need to do the planning to do any work? What will happen if we can't do any planning? Let's do the job. I hope some of you doing job and doing the planning. Planning is like something everyone and everyday life, no matter if it was the construction or anything. When you move from your house in the early morning and you're back in the home, you must have a full day planning, what you're going to do. So we need to think about that way. Why the project? When you're coming to the project, what is the importance in the project planning and what is the success measure? What is the life cycle? Types of the project management plan and some type of document. I'm going to very brief on that one. And impact of the planning. And then I'm going to show you about the virtual reality modeling on the planning for public consent and a case of the road construction planning and optimization model. So we'll start about why project planning. The idea to giving this today talk to improve everyone to understanding in that area in much more detail where you are have understanding and you're going to add more level of understanding, enhancing your knowledge or understanding about what is really planning means and how it will be have an impact in the construction. So let's just start about the planning. What is planning? Planning is an unusual process. It is much more fun to do the something. It is nothing about that one. Everyone doing the planning, either educated, everyone doing the planning. So it is like an unnatural process. And it is much more fun. So the nicest thing is that about not planning is that the failure comes as a complete. If you don't do planning, what will be the expectation you're there? It will be the complete failure, surprise, rather than being preceded by a period of worry and depression. Normally what happening, people get a start depression. I have done this, I'm unable to get the success my target. And I start worrying, depression, and a lot of things is coming because you not have done proper planning. And that was the majority of the reason for anything you cannot achieve your target, what you're going to do. So is it worth doing? Ask yourself, is it worth doing? Do we need to do the planning? And that is one of the Victor Hughes, which is the 82,000 French poet, domestic and novelist, is talking about, who every morning plans the transaction of the day and follow the plan and carries a thread that will guide him through a network of most busy life. I'm sure all of you have a busiest life. And every morning, before you just wake up from the bed and start thinking about, okay, what should I have to do? What are the activity in your do list today in the morning? Where to go, how to go, when to go. If you're going to be sometime you stuck in the traffic, you're planning to achieve, like today, very simple. We're planning 4 o'clock. We arrive 4 o'clock, but these are the certain risk which is not unexpected. We're not expected about the technical issue, so something is happening. So this is the another reason, is the worth doing or not. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So if you not prepare yourself, it means you already sure in advance that you are going to fail. So don't expect the result because you didn't prepare anything. How can you make success on that one? And that is the Benjamin Franklin, which is the US founding father of that one. So its importance is by failing to prepare, because that is your responsibility to do the preparation, you are going to fail if you're not doing that one. So another one, Niels Bohr is talking about, Danish psychiatrist, is prediction is very difficult, especially if it is the future. If you don't need to do the prediction, you don't need to do the planning, all right? So prediction is very difficult, especially if it is about all about the future. So if you want to do the future, you have to think about the planning. For example, all the students, when you're going to the university, you already have a start thinking about the whole long-term planning. That is called very future long-term planning. What course you need to subject. When you leave from the high school or you go to the colleges and start to your changing your career, you are to thinking. You need to do a lot of research, need to find about that one. What is your career path you're going to shoot? You're doing a lot of planning on that one. So this is all about the important about the planning. So process is important as the output. You always expecting the result. Output is the final result. Plans is nothing, planning is everything. Then question is, what are the difference between plan and planning? Planning is all about the process. Plan is just what to do. Planning is how to do. Try to understanding. If you answer that questions, how to do, how to achieve whatever you set the target. Setting the target, setting to do, achieving what you want to do, that is all about the plan. But how to do, how to achieve that target is all about the planning. And for the planning, communication is the key for the whole planning process. Nowadays, might be understanding about the communications, but everything's what you're going to do, it is all about the communication. If you think about the responsibility duties of the engineer, what is doing the engineer in the site? What is the role of the engineer?
Supervision.
But how are you doing the supervision? It's all about the communication. You are not doing anything. You're just communicating, right? What is the design drawing information? You communicating to the site supervisor, workers, supervisor or technician, whoever working on that one. Engineer actually doing nothing. Even the project manager. What is the role of project manager? They're giving the planning and communicating. What to do, how to do, all about the communication. To do the next level, the people who really doing. The person like a plumber, fixer, he is the person who is doing the real job. In between, all are communicating what to do, how to do. Everybody is communicating on that one. So communication is one of the key in the planning. That's why talking about the importance of the communication. Let's talk about the purpose of the planning. Plan work so that it can be turned into effort to achieve the project success. Right? So what we mean by the success? How can you define that your project is successful? There is a different definition about the success. If the doctor, we're going to come back about, do the operation successfully, but patient died. Can you say that was the success? That was coming about this example. Operation was a complete success. You do all the work, activities, like in project. You do everything. All the steps follow, but you didn't get the end result. Does it mean success? No, it doesn't be success. Similar talk about you done the operation successfully, but the patient died. Traditional view of the project success. So example, what is the performance or the measuring scale of the performance in traditionally? Time, budget, or specification? Quality, specification. Did you meet, if you deliver the project on time, if you deliver the project on the budget, but you didn't meet the specification, which is the one of the key to control the quality. Time and cost quality, that is the triangle on that, which is all about, still, this 3 point is the most performance measuring indicator, performance indicator. Now, it is coming about nowadays, satisfy customer. So who is their customer? In engineering profession, who is your customer? When you deliver the project, the client. Client is your customer. If the client is not satisfied, what you deliver, it could be public, private, whoever the financer, anybody will be your customer. He must need to be satisfied. Even if you control on the time, cost, and budget, if the customer is finally not satisfied, you can't say that was your successful on that one. So, but what does failure really mean in here? Did you get about project baseline, original project plan? Did you compare on that one? We'll give you some example. Let's see about some example. 3 dotted line is there here. You can see about here. Budget, how the budget going to vary out of the blue line is the original plan, original time, cost and specification. You are meeting the specification, you are close to the specification, but you are extending the time and extending the budget. And the most important, if you can see about here, original tolerance about B, whereas you can see about here, and latest agreed plan revision about the C. If you're going to delay more and more, then you need to change your plan on the C. So does the success means being within the limit of A and C or not? Original plan was A and the revise is the C. So revise is coming why? Because of the variation, because of the delay, there is a lot of issues coming. More than the 99% of projects, do you found any example who has completed on time, on the time, deliver on the project? Majority of the project is going to be delayed. And delay will be their reason. As a contractor, they have a reason to claim for extension. So you need to revise the plan. Originally you agreed 2 years, but because of the several issues, we don't want to go the risk and issue why can be delayed. When you agree finally on that, another 2 years, 3 years, then the project period becomes 5 years. It's not 2 years. So that's why he's talking about A and C. Original was the time, and the final revision is coming over the 4 years. Then how can you measure the success from the 2 years to the 4 year on that one? So that was the different way. What do you mean? Is failure mean on that one or not? There is some outside example of the success. Failure means, and the failure also being out of the control. Originally destination shut down due to the snow. Might be you can see some of the flight because of the heavy rainfall or the fog is coming. Even the flight was half an hour rounding about, or you have to go diverted on that one. Reset your course, alternative airport. It is about the complete failure or not? Because you didn't achieve the success on the time, which is coming beyond on that one. So new version of the success is all about project efficiency, meeting the time and budget. It means you achieve one indicator, is the efficiency. Business result. The businessman, they want to know that who is the investor. Financial is the one of the key for any business on that one. Market share and the growth. How much the investment make the profit on that one. Preparation for the failure, new technology, new market, and new capabilities. These are the 3 things can control about the future. For any business, if you want to run and success in the future, you must need to think about the future technology. Technology is so fast changing. You can imagine when I was 1995, we didn't have a chances to look about even the computer, even not the touch the computer. There was a one room, was very block, curtain, even you have to shoes remove outside, just it will be a couple of just to see only that one. Like in the somewhere place, just come and visit on that one. Now we can see how much technology is there. If any business keep continuing on that one, how can they going to be successful in the future? Impact on the team, satisfaction, retention, and personal growth. For any organization, if you want to retain your work manpower, they need to satisfy from the job environment, satisfy from their facility or benefit. Once you retention, what is the retention rate? That is also the measure about your organization, your project. In this project, what are the number of staff have left on the project without completing on that one? So that is also the indicator about impact on the whole team because team is the one of the key for any project to bring and deliver on the success. And then finally about the customer, which is the requirement outside, all the stakeholder who going to finally use, public going to use. Ultimately, we are the user. We are also the one part of the stakeholder. We are also the user, end of the day. The person who built on that one, tomorrow everybody will be the user on that product. So that will be also satisfy, benefit, and loyalty on that one. So these are the new version. Before just time, cost, and quality, we need to think about business result, impact on team, preparation of the future. These are the things you need to consider to get the future on that one. Just one example about huge order. Even though it has a huge order, Airbus helped EasyJet realize that promised benefit is this one fleet in order to secure the long-term loyalty. What will be the impact on the customers? Achieving the customer satisfaction, benefit, and loyalty on that one. For any airline organization, and give simple example, in Nepal, which airlines is the most loyal or more reliable airlines? Both the airs, if you talk about the domestic, compared to other. If you talk about the international, I hope Qatar Airlines will be the most on that one. Why? What is the reliability? That was the thing about that one. So even if you have the loyal, if you have the long-term your satisfaction, your customer will become your advertiser. You don't need to do the advertisement to your business. They will be the one of the key agents to make advertise your business, and you will get growth and more, and your business will be success on that one. And this is also the part of the high level, top level management. We need to think about the planning on that one. This is about simple design on that one. We don't want to go that much details. This is for about the future planning on that one. So this is all about the research project, still in the clear aims and control. Majority of the 80% of the research project is become failure because they follow the step, because research is always the unknown thing, finding the unknown thing. You never achieve the final, but you follow all the steps. If you know the answer of the question, you don't need to do the research. Research is always finding unknown things, finding the solution of the problem which you are facing on that one. And it doesn't mean that every time you get the success on that one. So this is all the example about the business result, talking about some of the example on that one. Understanding the real goals. I'm talking about when you're making the planning, what is the goal about that one? Try to understanding what is the goal means. People, new environment, new way of the working, or system, new product, new services, or organization, which is any organization we are running on that one. What is the operation model for the new situation? When the situation changes, the organization need to change the model, working model need to be changed. For example, if you're talking about the COVID case scenario, a lot of the organization, the running has changed, becoming on the virtual because of the technology supported. There's a lot of other things. Nowadays, they're talking about the blending. Blending means 50% doing in the virtually, 50% on the face-to-face. Not every employee to come to the office traveling. You save the traveling time. You save the CO2 emission by the people who are traveling on that one. So they want to work from the home. They can save the time, even hour and hour traveling time going to save non-productive work on that one. So I'm just giving a quick example about that one. For any project, when you're doing the planning, the first question is, why you need to start the new project? What will be the benefit? Even you build the house or build any project, before you thinking to build any project on that one, what will be the benefit? What is the main goal? If you go the economic benefit, okay, you go for the shopping complex, high-rise building. You can see this is example. These are the project which is fully about the main goal is all about the economic benefit, nothing more than that. It needs to work. There is something necessary. Hydropower project. This is about one of the river, when the seawater flowing overflow. So this is the one of the barrier in the London Thames River. This block the seawater wave of the high wave of the seawater back to the coming on the London. So this is all about the necessary, like build the road, tunnel. This is the necessity you need to build. You need to work on that one. But what is the benefit for building this Eiffel Tower or big any Sydney Opera House? What is the main necessity? What is the benefit? This is all about the prestige. So goal is the prestige. When you build the tower in the air, what is the main goal on that one? It's not about the business, not about the economy. It is all about the symbol for any country to make about the prestige on that one. So this is just we can talk about some of the goals, success, and the planning on that one. So planning is all about project is working out who does what, when, where, and how. Please try to understanding here. Who does how? So you need to allocate the resources. Who does what? And when need to do, which is the schedule. Plan is all about giving the information on the sheet. List of the activity. Then giving the bar chart, giving the time scale. Start date, finish date on that one. Where need to do? You need to give the location, which part of the project site area you need to do, and how. Means what are the resources required, what are the machinery required, what type of the skill resources is required. Each activity you need to allocate how to do, what are the method of the statement. You need to even write down text statement, how to deliver. Simple, you give it the to painter and do the painting. If the painter don't know have this one, they need to give the special guideline how to do on that one. And that is coming about the skill on here. So people thinking about documenting what needs to be done. I think in Nepal, there is a poor about anything, what you are doing, they are not putting on the documentation. And documentation is one of the key asset for your future. Everything what you're doing, keep recorded on that one. And that will be your future project. When you're going to start the new project, how to do. For example, all are the fresh graduate. When you're coming the fresh graduate, they don't have any experience. When you start the new project, what information, where are you going to get? You need to go in the past project, collect all the planning information, collect all the detailed information. All the knowledge is based on the past project. And that's the reason you're asking everybody experience. Okay, how many years your experience? How many projects you have completed? But each company organization must need to keep all the documented. When they're coming new, and there is some sort of the practice in culture here, at least 10-20% should allow as a fresh graduate in that organization. Because if you don't give the new generation job, how will be the future they will prepare? They never going to, first time they coming from where they experience. They can't get evidence, never. In UK, there is a policy in the government, all the contractor organizations, they given the special tax facility, tax rebate, returning, because they given you have to be employed 20% placement during the period on that one. And that because you are creating next generation. If you don't teach the skill here, how are you going to create fraud? How will you be prepare for the future project? You will be facing the problem because you don't have the market socket available in the market on that one. And that's the reason when you're doing about the planning, it is all about the project activity, work schedule, allocating the resources, and acceptable budget. So these are some of the things. But I'm going to talk about the plan, management plan. Not just about the schedule, which is talking about the time information about that one, but it is a plan how the project will be managed. This is one of the key challenges. I'm sure that most of the construction company, even big to the small, still they are learning from the past project, always learning knowledge coming from the past, but still they had to be, lot of space is there where you can improve further, to improve the more productivity, improve the efficiency to managing all the resource, all the project. And I'm just briefly going to talk about what are the things you need to understanding before you making any project and plan. Assumptions and constraints. Try to understanding. Anything when you're making the planning, you have assumption that I'm going to arrive there by within half an hour. It's your assumption. But nothing going to happen when you arrive there. In between, there is a lot of potential risk that and constraint that bring to you cannot achieve on that one. It could be any constraint, it could be environmental, it could be technical, it could be practical, it could be political, it could be local, rule and regulations. There is a lot of things about there in the constraint. So, the process will be monitor and report on the status, handle the risk, changes, possible changes going to occur during the process, and quality. These are the 2-3 things you always have to be monitor and reporting weekly or monthly basis. What are the risks in this period? Doesn't matter any risk you don't get faced, maybe next month they have a different new risk coming to you on that one. There is a lot of changes coming also. Different environmental changes, then political changes. There is a lot of things, pressure is coming on that one. So as the things you need to be managed about here. So this is the part of the process when you do the management plan on that one. And then finally, without considering these factors, and if you make your planning, simple Gantt chart, without understanding on that one, before you're going to allocate the time and budget, you must need to be considered. You need to have allocated time How much going to time implication? How much going to cost implication? Because of constraint in each activity, you have to be inserted. And then not it is simply about the just raw material and labor cost on the any planning on that one. So, project life cycle. I'm just going to talk about the project life cycle. Is pre-project work where you need to assessment, business cases, and benefit management plan. I'm sure this is all we are much richer in these stages, and especially if you're doing the private project, I hope you much thinking lot of things you are thinking, understanding what are the business cases. For this is the standard practice for any project. Before you start initiating the new project, you must need to make your business cases. Why it is important? Why it is important now? How much budget required? Where coming from the finance? What will be the benefit? How long will be going to benefit on that one? These are the things to be justified for your business. If you don't justify your business, your project cannot be approvable, and that is called pre-project work. Then start the project. Once you agree, you get green signal about yes, this is the profitable project. They have a lot of benefit. Benefit could be financial, non-financial as well, tangible, non-tangible benefit. Then only what happening here when the project in Nepal, I think majority of the project is coming on the pressure, right? Political pressure, without any single people thinking about what will be the benefit, where coming the finance, how long will take time, what are the really benefit, who going to benefit, what are the number of the people going to benefit? No, nothing. There is no happening on that one, and that's the reason we are still lagging behind. And even we are investing more budget, the same amount of the product built here and other places. If you compare about the long-term benefit, in compare about that one, will be much more spending more on money and time, effort, but the output and quality going to get less. So what is the starting project charter? I'm just going to give you a brief explain about the project charter, which is the initial definition of the project. When the document issued by the project sponsor, which is formally authorized by the project, formally approval of the project, and provide to the project manager with the authority to apply the organizational resources and the project activity. So any project plan can only be defined if the documents describe the project will be executed, monitored, and controlled. So try to think about here, what is the documents, how many documents or information are available, which is now term of reference you're talking about here when you're making the new project. Purpose of the project, when you're reporting any project, what is the aim, purpose? Measurable project objective and related success criteria, they already defined. How can you measure on that one? High level requirements and the project description, boundary, and the key deliverable. Boundary is all about the scope. I think majority of the projects have a biggest dispute and claim on the scope. In the beginning, we agree, we not clearly stated in the document what need to be done. When you project then start, no, this need to be added, this need to be done. Drawing doesn't imply say that this need to be done. Some of the things drawing doesn't clear you what need to do, what you don't need to do. Some of the go for a specification, go for some different places, finding different documentation. If you have stated, then you can find easily. And that was the one of the reason we can get the claim and dispute start because of the scope, variation of the scope on that one. Overall project risk, normally people have done, analyze, forecasted, and the possible risk throughout the project. It could be financial resources, where coming for the finance, a stakeholder list, an approval requirement, exit criteria, if the project going to fail in between, how to get out from the project, that criteria also setting. You're going to enter, but it doesn't mean that you're going to finish up to the last. Suppose if something going to happen, what is the exit in between out of the project? That also all the guidelines and the things should be prepared on that one. These all are the document need to prepare as a start of the project. And assign the project manager responsibility and authority. What is happening here? They assign the manager, but given the responsibility, but authority was very limited. As a result, they are unable to function and deliver the what should be done on that one. So all the sponsor unauthorizing, these are the part of things on here. So this is just example of the project charter, which is just going to brief talk about it. Now I'm going to show you one of the case of the regeneration project, which is the public consent. What do you mean? I think sure here also not that much is the famous. For the especially the public project, especially the council, local council, Nagar Palika, Gaon Palika on that one, a lot of the regeneration project is happening. Like wasteland area, where is the limited area, land is very, very expensive on everywhere. They want to reutilize the existing land or wasteland area. This is the one of the case study to develop how to utilize on that one. And why I'm just trying to show you this case study, because nowadays, I'm sure in Nepal slowly becoming conscious, any project, public project, if you bring even a small park, some area on a small public things, you need to get consent from the local ward, local people on that one, get the approval on that one. So what is the best way? If you go bring the document and show to them, what they can understand? They are the simple layman. They can't understand anything. What they're talking. Only engineer who can read the document, they can only understanding what is there. Rest of the people don't know what going to build, how looks like on that area. That was not there. So this is the one of the example I just tried to show you. This is one of the river, Teesside River, and if you look about here, this is the dock when the ship is coming, and they're going to build. This is the area where the ship was come and the repair and like a parking for the bigger ship from the river. After that was done 10, 20 years. There's a big land area you can see above the round it. They want to regenerate, to rebuild the city on that area. So how are you going to do? Because existing city area is there, and that area is now no utilized because before was using and now it is totally isolated. It is very nice, close to city. So this is one about the VR model, and this is all about VR modeling going to develop to the leisure parking high rise on that one, and the main lake area they regenerated, make about the park. There has a colleges on that one, and they have some of the road infrastructure built, and lot of things road and traffic planning are done. These are the things doing much more in advance nowadays. You can do in the VR model on that one. So if you can see about the current development, before was look one, and then after was that one, just changing from the before. So that's one of the videos which is I was fully involved to do this regeneration project. And you can do about the design, you can do about the visualization, you can change the design, and even you can see how looks like that one. If you're going to build, what will be the walking movement of the people, what is the high-rise building, even you can see the shadow images on that one. How about the sunlight impact? If you make the high-rise building nearby the local houses, they can cover all the shadow. They're going to object because without saying this one, they don't understand what's going to happening. Because their whole sunlight is going to be covered. They're going to whole life going to stay without sunshine on setting on that one if you make the high-rise building on that one. So how are you going to build on that? This is just one of the example. I'm sure this is being people make the evening walking like a social life, environmental, can make about that one, so lakeside. So how we can see about to modeling and showing to show the people, look, this type of the project you're going to bring here, and if you bring, this is the things look like here, so that can be, this is only the part of the communication. When earlier I talked about the communication. What is this? This is about the tools. And tools means what? They are just communicating. I don't need to explain everyone, just to display these videos, then people every can understanding what is all about on that one. So to make the communication easier, everyone, so that we can easy to get the consent from the local public on that one. Now I'm just talking about the little bit project management plan, and this plan is all about, talk about the types of the plan. I'm sure they are making, but I'm not sure is that details of the plan in the project is developing or not. Scope management, requirement management, schedule management, cost, quality, resources, communication, risk, procurement, stakeholder, change management, scope baseline, schedule, cost baseline, performance measurement, and the whole project life cycle. These are all the management plan. So there are different management plan need to be developed, different folder on that one. Whereas the project documents, you look about here, these are all the documents you need to get ready. Around 33 types of the documents need to be prepared, whereas the 18 types of the plan you need to be prepared. I'm not talking about just a small project. You're talking about the big million and billion projects. I'm sure all the international contractor, I hope they have this type of this one. But slowly, I think here also becoming the practice. Also, they are not have that much detail, but certain level is progressing. At least that is the satisfaction level on that one. And I hope in the future can be improving and further. But these are the things you need to give communicated and awareness to the education level. And then only going to become. So I'm not going to on the details. How are you going to estimate the activity resources? I've just asked you a simple question. When you're making the planning, everyone know about that one. What are the factors you consider when you're calculating how many days required to build just foundation level or just brick wall level, ground wall level? When you're just estimating the time. Do you have anyone idea? Do you have anyone involved to estimating the time estimate for a project? Anyone? No, not yet, right? Anyway, no need to worry about that one. It is all about the first quantity and the productivity. Here it's all about the productivity. Per hour, what are the per hour cubic meter? One painter in per hour, how many square meter going to do? Where is coming from that information? Who will go into this information? That is called archive of that one. If the company have each activities, different manpower productivity, I'm sure that they have any list or online resources here or not. Norms, they have a norms, already they have a norms per hour that one, they already have a norms. So norms will going to give you some idea to calculate on that one, plus the risk and contingency. So each, if you're talking about the productivity, do you estimate that the same person per hour 5 square meter, for example, the productivity will be the Monday will be different, Friday will be different. Morning 8 to 12 will be different, afternoon will be different. There is a big fluctuation. But when you're doing that is the assumption, when you're making the estimate, you are just dividing equally. When you say you have 5 square meter per person, you have 5,000 square meter of painting, simply you divide, right? So when you're dividing that productivity norms, you need to be considered average productivity, not maximum, not minimum, and average productivity to calculate, to consider all those potentials. I hope some of you might be, if you involved in the project planning or planning, that have a consider on that one. At the same time, all the communication management, which is talking about the collection the information, how to store the information, how to manage and monitor and ultimate. The risk management, I'm not going to talk about that much details. It is too late now. And I have spent a lot of time on other things. It is all about the potential risk. Risk could be anything that could be happen during your project period. How can you measure the risk? How can you identify the risk? And what are the responses? The majority of the risk responses, one of the easiest way is doing about the transfer the risk. If you are the client, you transfer all the risk contractor. And what do the contractor doing? If the client is transferring the risk to the contractor, contractor will jack up the price because they're taking the risk, which is all the insurance. What the contractor going to do? They're going to transfer that risk. This is the part of a strategy measure to do the insurance. Everything you make insurance company will talk about all the risk, and you have to pay the premium, right? So that was the biggest cost on the risk. If they're taking more risk contractor, the price will be much more higher because you're taking all the risk. Could be happen anything on that one. And that was certain risk you can manage, you can take new technology, you can revise, you can employ the expertise and to manage. Certain risk you cannot manage, just transfer the risk. A certain risk, neglect, do nothing. Some of the risk, you can't do anything. So you need to just keep yourself assertive on that one. Procurement. It is all about procurement of not the material, procurement of the whole project, like a tendering process on that one. Who will be the best contractor? How are you going to justify that one? And what are the risks? If you are I am the client, I want to give the project to the contractor. I'm taking big risk. I'm investing the money from the beginning and paying to the contractor, but I'm not sure the end of the day, end of the project, they're going to deliver me with my satisfaction. Right? So this is the one of the business. Contractor is the one of the business where the customer is already known. If you look about the other business, you don't know. If the car industry, mobile industry, other industry, they just build the product and sell in the market, push in the market. Who going to be user? They don't know. But in the construction industry, is all the users already identified. You're not going to build house and waiting to the customer come and take waiting on that one. Even if you have developer, all the developer, you have to advance sign to the contract. 2 years contract, sign this one, you have to deposit in advance because you already fixed the customer and then start building up that one. So that was the biggest difference between the other industry and this one. A stakeholder management is all about the people who are interested directly and indirectly on that project, have interest, also the project, engagement on that one. You have to be very careful to manage about the, sometimes the hidden stakeholder, which is called like a pulling the leg on that one. Their intention is to make the problem, to create the problem. There is certain people who are always creating the problem. They don't want to solve the problem. They are more enjoying to create any project, the problem. It could be political, could be non-political, there could be there are a lot of people's organizations. They are always, their job is there. So you have to be very careful about stakeholder management. What are our approach when you're making the planning on that one? First, we project charter, we talk about that one. Then we develop the work breakdown structures, develop the schedule, plan the resources, and then understand the cost for all that one. So this is just a standard process on that one when you're going to develop a plan. But when you develop the schedule, where you're going to talk about the bar chart, time scale on that one, you have to be list of the activity, then sequence. That is the most challenging. Which is the start and finish. How you know that which sequence to start, which will be the next one? Finish to a start or a start to a start? Certain activity you can start together, overlapping, you can save the time, whole project duration. Certain activity you need to finish to a start or maybe in between there. If you have a space available or the resource available, if you don't have resource, you need to finish one activity, then move on that one. So this is the sequences. Estimate the activity resources, what resources required, what type of the skill people required, in which tasks. These are the very important on that one. And then estimate based on that. After identifying the resource people, then you're going to identify the time and then prepare the schedule. And that will give you the really total project time. So one of the challenge here, what I am feeling here, whoever developing the planner, engineer or planning manager, what is the main job? To estimate the project duration. How long take time? So there is a two-way. Depend upon the constraint base. If your resource is limited, and then you can develop the plan, it will be 3 years. If you increase the resources, you have giving another additional resources, you can sequence the project duration. So there is a big challenges about how you're going to identify what is the right time. Is the 2 year estimated or 3 year estimated of the project is the right time? Who going to tell that one? Let's fast track project. How many years are they estimated? 4 year, 5 year? In the beginning, 4 year, 5 year, right? How many years? Now already spent nearly 4 or 5 years nearly finished. And what is the progress now? Percentage? If you estimate based on the 10-20% progress, if you forecast how many extra years required, easily you can forecast on that one. So can you blame the people who do the project, initially project planning and estimating on the project duration is the wrong? So always in the project, you never know the actual time and actual cost until the project finishes. And that was the skill is delivered on that one, how the project will be going to be, identify the right duration and the right project cost. It is a lot of things depend upon the people, expert who going to develop on the beginning of the project, how to forecasting on that. It is not like a magic. Some people say that, oh, 5 years is enough, you can easily can do. It doesn't work like that way. You have to go each and active details on that one. Next, I'm just quick about one of the example I'm going to talk about here, the planning for the road project. It is one of the my research, PhD research on that one. Is one of the tools, and this is developing about the earthwork plan. You can see about the road section on here. There is a lot of resource machinery intensive project on the road. Everything done by the machinery. So how are you going to optimize this on that one? There is a lot of issues where you can optimize. This is just given the optimization about the minimum cost, energy consumption, and CO2 emission. If you can see about multiple of the section, if you go at the road, up and down, cut and fill on that one. Which one will be the most appropriate, where you can get economical to allocate and deliver, or the extra material to backfill on that one. And this project was built one of the European biggest motor engine company who has provided all the data, and they have collected around 144 projects about collecting all the data and built up the big database is built up to identify the productivity of the different set of the equipment and find out which will be the more economical. So what you need to do, you just change about the variables within that tools, and they will give you per cubic meter of the earthwork transport unit cost on that one. And usually you can find how long take time on that one. So this is all about the productivity, cost. And if you look about the option 1, option 2, and option 3, is excavator and the bulldozer and the loading. There are 3 sets of the equipment. So there is a different functionality. What are the factors affecting the productivity? Everything you can change, and they are going to generate and develop this result. We cannot see from here, but just try to understand what I'm trying to say is per unit, per cubic meter of the earthwork, how much take time and how much cost on that one by changing different scenario, changing the type of equipment, changing the weather condition, changing the access road condition, different type of the soil you're going to condition. So everything factors which directly affect the productivity you can do for that one. So this is just one example about here, optimize. If you look about here, you can see in the beginning there is a filling section, in middle is the cutting, and then again filling on that one. Now the question is here, do we need to all cut and fill here, or do we need to cut bring from there? So how are you going to decide how much quantity from the cutting to make the nearby filling and how much quantity on that one? So this is one of the tools that can help you to generate kilometer and kilometer, take different sections and give you the different understanding. If you look about the bottom line is here, this is all about the line of the location, Chinese to Chinese. If you're working in the beginning, this space is long. If you're going faster and faster, week by week, they're going to increase on that late. So number of the week, easily you can count in what locations the work going to be happening. In what type of the equipment and the type of the set of the resources, everything allocated through the program on that one. So the program you don't need to do, you just need to be input the variables, and you can get all those allocated plan created, and the location, that was called location based. So if you're working in the road construction, it's what channels to tomorrow you need to send, what type of equipment you need to send weekly on daily basis, you can do the planning on that one. If you look about some of the red color you can see about here, that is called a space congestion. You cannot allocate additional resources because the equipment not have enough space to work on that one. And the program will tell you, whatever you set of the equipment, that is not sufficient for working on that one. So I'm just trying to show you, this was the one of the visual, if you're going to work here. Can you see here? It is going to. This is the one of the visual form, how the excavation going to be up and down. You can see about here, when the progressing happening week by week basis. So your filling section is going to up and cutting section going to down to get the final formation level of the road on that one. So this is the one of the way we going to do the like a 4D simulation, 4-dimensional section in respect to the time, how the progress happening up and down. In addition to the information, you can see the location plan, everything you can visualize, cost, and the progress you can see about the here. This is the original plan, the line, and the green is the actual progress. So even you can progress can be monitored together based on that one, on the cost informations. So this is one of the tools, visualization tools we can develop on here. Now I'm going to show you quick about just a couple of slides left. Sorry about the delay. BIM application of the digital construction planning. So what is going to happening here? I'm just trying to show you. Nowadays there is a less application about the building information modeling. It is all about the philosophy and concept. And you can see that when you're going to build construction, nowadays, all the construction going to do the virtually before you're going to implement it on the site. So you can see about here, making some the site boundary, and then start there the site office, there is a tower crane on that one, and you can see the scaffolding is moving when that moving on that one, and week by progression happening on that one. So there is a much, they already have a much more than advanced, but at least we can try to show you how things are happening. Even every details you can go through and look about all the conflict or the service conflicted, which were going to be, this service is going to be connected with the any BIM or not. Everything information you're going to visualize. You can see the construction sequences, the most important tools of the communication, how the construction going to be built in the construct real site on that one. So in the advance, you can see about once a building is completed, these are the scaffoldings they are removing on that one. So you can just, a small example, you can just try to show and then make the boundary on here. So all the site office you can build, and you can see that how you're going to be built. Even you can removing all the site fencing. Now the final, the boundary of the house you can see here. So everything you can visualize is much more advanced in here, and that is called as a building application. I think there is take long time in Nepal. This is the one of the project. I'm just trying to show you. Oh, this is the another one. There is another project was there. I just tried to one residential building which is recently done by the 4D BIM simulations, which is Kathmandu Valley. I think this is not have uploaded on that one. This is the same building on coming on that one, but this should be another residential building which can show about the 4D simulations. So I'm not going to take long time. This is the final summary slide. What is the planning and its importance? Success measure in planning, we explain about that one. And the project management plan, case study of the public consent before the approval, which is showing about the drawing, and the VR modeling of this one, and finally about the BIM modeling of residential. Thank you for your valuable time. Questions, please.
कुनै क्वेसन छैन तपाईहरु केही छ क्वेसन भने राख्न सक्नुहुनेछ
Yes.
Thank you for the presentation. It was quite helpful. I was more interested on understanding your project, your topics of the presentation, like project performance in construction project. In the case of Nepal, I was expecting something like that, some slide regarding that issues. And another thing is that the tools you have that you have some BIM and the sort of this thing for the road construction. It's like it is more like the on-time planning. I think is that true? If I'm correct, like what you need to do tomorrow, you can do today. You can see your work going on today, but it's not like planning the whole project at once. And another thing is that from your tool, how can you measure the success criteria? Like we have discussed, like the success criteria is defined in a new way. Like it has got like 5 ceilings: effectiveness, efficiencies, and relevance, impact, and sustainability. I think these tools are communicating more on the efficiencies rather than this effectiveness.
Okay, thank you. It is good questions. So I just try to clarify. This tool is more about detailed planning. This tool is not about as a whole project planning. We're just talking about overall planning and how we're going to measure success for the 5 indicators. That can be measured based on the base tools on that. But the tools which I presented, which is only about how can you monthly or weekly planning you can do, detailed planning of the resource optimization to do the performance do the job on the time? How can you save the money? How can you save the time? How can you improve the product? For example, in the road construction, when we talk about the road construction, the tools we're talking about that one, it is really, really useful. I think most of the road contractor in Nepal, I think this tool will be very, very useful because I have not have a time. So if I have a time, I should have open the tools and show you some of the simulation and demonstration that make much more easier. But I just give you the brief, only the advantage and the function of the tools only. It is all about when you're planning on that one. Overall planning there, master planning was there. When you're doing the master planning, as we talked before, the master planning was there. But based on the master planning, and in the beginning, you need to decide how long take time and how many weeks and how many days you need to go for the particular road section on that one. What set of resources? If you look about, if you have imagined go to road, there is a different set of the equipment. And there are different location, different activities happening, parallelly in happening. So you need to allocate at the right time and the right location and the right equipment. Because if you allocate the high capability of equipment and there is a space limitation was there, they cannot work. If you given the one excavator and 5 dump truck loader, so what is the number of sequences? If you go in one excavator, how many dump truck, if you have a 10 kilometer cycling time on that one, how many dump truck you need to assign for that one? Either what they happening, they excavate, fill on that one, and excavator is waiting, idle. Hour and hour, because if you imagine per hour cost of this heavy equipment is much more higher. Even 10 hours the idle time is there, you have a big loss of the project. So that is going to give you much more details as a contractor tools to operate and manage on the weekly and monthly basis of the tool. Rather than, this is not about as our whole planning or master planning, how to develop the master planning, which is we already talk about the project charter, how to develop the schedules, how to develop on the time, and that is based on the equipment. So if you put that simulation tools, that will give you per unit cost and the time. They can divide what is the total quantity of the earthwork 10 kilometer road. That will give you the more exact estimated about the time and the cost on that one. That will help you on that. In terms of the success and 5 business measures, that can be done in the end of the project. You have to measure all different success. They're talking about the end of the project. Then only you can know that where are you. Mainly when you're doing the weekly progress or monthly progress, we just going about your business, your satisfaction, number of the cases or the incident happening on the construction site. These all about the mention. How many people are like going and coming on that one, how many retention on this one, how much the progress physically you are achieving. These are the indicator you can make how the progress happening on that one. There is a different tools about the progress monitoring, which is S-curve or project controlling tool on that one, which is because of the lack of time I could not have show you, because there is a lot of much more detail we can present and show you about that. Hopefully the next time I can give you. If you have any question, this is the right answer.
It's fine.
Thank you.
Top question, please.
Yes. Anyone? Thank you.
धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद सरलाई, सरको उपस्थिति साथै क्वेसनको लागि धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद। हामी अब टोकन अफ वितरण सेसनमा छौँ। आजका प्रमुख प्रस्तुताज्यूलाई टोकन अफ वितरण गरिदिनु हुन आजका कार्यक्रमको सभापतिज्यूलाई हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु र हाम्रो प्रमुख प्रस्तुता र सभापतिज्यू अगाडि आइदिनु हुन हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु। नेपाल इन्जिनियर्सको लोगो पनि लगाइदिनु हुन त्यसलाई हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु।
Thank you very much for your appreciation.
सम्माननीय प्रधानमन्त्री सर्वहारा विभागको प्रमुख अतिथिमा हामीले साउन 3 गते इन्जिनियर्स डे मनाउँदैछौँ, 60औं इन्जिनियर्स डे मनाउँदैछौँ। यस कार्यक्रममा हामीले टेक्निकल सेसन पनि राखेका छौँ। विशेष गरी चाहिँ सस्टेनेबल डेभलपमेन्ट र सर्भिस डेलिभरीको पाटोमा हाम्रो 2टा मेजर सेक्सन छ र त्यसमा किनोट स्पिकरहरू चाहिँ हामीले निमन्त्रणा गरिसकेका छौँ। त्यसैले त्यो कार्यक्रममा हजुरको सहभागितालाई हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छौँ। हामीले इन्जिनियर्स डेकै मनाउने क्रममा भोलि बिहान 8 बजे हामीले ब्लड डोनेसन कार्यक्रम पनि राखेका छौँ इन्जिनियर्स भवनमा। हजुरको करुणामा उपस्थितिलाई हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छौँ। त्यसै गरी हामीले यो आजको रेकर्ड चाहिँ हाम्रो युट्युब मार्फत पनि हामीले तपाईँहरूलाई चाहिँ रेकर्डमा राख्नेछौँ र त्यसै कारणले गर्दा युट्युब नेपाल इन्जिनियर्सको युट्युब च्यानल सब्सक्राइब गर्न सक्नुहुनेछ। साथसाथै हाम्रो थुप्रै गतिविधिहरू जानकारीको लागि नेपाल इन्जिनियर्सको पेज पनि लाइक गर्नुहोला र यसको स्लाइड पनि हामीले हाम्रो नेपाल इन्जिनियर्सको साइटमा पनि पाउन सक्नुहुनेछ। आज यस कार्यक्रममा उपस्थित भएर हामीलाई सहयोग गरिदिनु भएको र फेसबुक लाइभमा जोडिनु भएकोमा सम्पूर्णमा धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छौँ। हाम्रो सदा चाहिँ 4 बजे सञ्चालन हुने शुक्रबार कार्यक्रममा हजुरहरूको उपस्थितिलाई हामी सधैँ वेलकम गर्नेछौँ। अब कार्यक्रमको अन्तिम चरणमा छौँ। आजको यस कार्यक्रममा छोटो धारणा राखी कार्यक्रम समापन गरिदिनु हुन केन्द्रीय अध्यक्षज्यू डाक्टर हरिबहादुर दलाम सरलाई अनुरोध गर्दै म पनि हजुरबाट बिदा हुन चाहन्छु। हस्, धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद सरोजी। आजका श्रोता राज शासक, सिनियर इन्जिनियर सरहरू, इन्जिनियर साथीहरू, सचिवालयका साथीहरू, फेसबुकबाट जोडिनुभएका सम्पूर्ण साथीहरू, सदा चाहिँ आज पनि हामीले एउटा समसामयिक विषयमा एउटा टक सो गऱ्यौँ र आजको टपिक इम्पोर्टेन्स अफ प्लानिङ प्रोजेक्ट पर्फर्मेन्स, जुन नेपालको परिवेशमा धेरै इस्युहरू आइरहने र यो सेक्टर राम्रो भइदियो भने त्यसले फड्को मार्छ भन्ने धेरैलाई लागिरहेको एउटा टपिक हो। यस सम्बन्धमा हामीले डिस्कस गऱ्यौँ र आजको प्रस्तुता शाह सरलाई हार्दिक धन्यवाद। सम्पूर्ण प्रश्नकर्ता साथीहरूलाई हार्दिक धन्यवाद ज्ञापन गर्दछु र अघि सरोजीले भनिसक्नुभयो, भोलि हामीहरूको ब्लड डोनेसन कार्यक्रम र 3 गते हामीहरूको इन्जिनियर डे प्रधानमन्त्री सम्माननीय प्रधानमन्त्रीको प्रमुख आतिथ्यमा समापन हुँदैछ। सम्पूर्णलाई उपस्थितिको लागि हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्दै र यहाँ आजको प्रस्तुता उपस्थित महानुभावहरू, फेसबुकबाट जोडिनुभएका सम्पूर्णलाई हार्दिक धन्यवाद ज्ञापन गर्दै आजको टक सो यहीँ समापन गर्दछु। धन्यवाद।